We have one more reading to go, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be the description of the Mula Nakshatra native. And this is coming from the divine forces of the lunar nakshatras as portrayed in the Vedas by an author known as Radhe. Now, let's keep in mind, as I always feel inclined to say, that when we're reading from this author, there's a reason why I'm reading from this author. She's very well researched. She really digs her teeth into the Vedic descriptions of all of the deities that are defined as the deities of the nakshatras, the nakshatra devatas. All of them exist in here in this wonderful book, and she describes them all with meticulous attention to detail, and she really gets the bottom. She gets to the bottom of this, to use a very Mula phrase. She really gets to the bottom of things. Now, that being said, we have to keep in mind the caveat that she is a sidereal practitioner. So there are times when, especially when we read about her description of the native, because all of their other stuff she talks about is niriti, for example. I'm going to be doing a video describing niriti in the Vedas from this book. And it's all in the Vedas. It's all way before the horoscope was invented. But she does her own interpretation of a native who has significant planet placements, or the Lagna, or the moon. The moon and the Lagna being the most key. The moon being the biggest one. She gives a description of the Mula native. And when she does, she often will use as her examples things that would be a sidereal astrologer would use. Now, as a tropical Vedic astrologer, I'm wary of this, and I'll always mention it whenever I see it happening, and I'll usually try not to bring it in, kind of thing, you know. But the author is wonderful. She understands the psyche of the nakshatras very well, and that's why I like to include her in my readings. So without further ado, let's now discuss the native of the Mula Nakshatra. Now, what we read is that Mula, as well as Ashlesha and Jesta, is classified by Jyotisha Shastra as a sharp, Tikshna nakshatra, as well as a demonic, Rakshasa nakshatra. So it's not only dreadful and sharp, that's Tikshna, but it's also classified as a Rakshasa nakshatra. Again, this is Jyotisha Shastra. So it's hard to say whether there's any distortion there, but let's speak to it here and digest it in our own way. What the author says is that this is no surprise, given its rulership by a goddess of death, destruction, and decay. It's niriti. Now, defined as root, that's Mula, defined as root and associated with family genetics. Mula Nakshatra represents deep-seated vasanas, or inclinations, inherited from one's past lives or ancestral lineage. With the ancient name Vrikratau, which means the two that uproot or transform, Mula can be envisioned as the two-stranded DNA chain of molecules or roots, responsible for our physical, mental, and emotional makeup. As such, this nakshatra is extremely karmic. It's a hot spring that scorches the surface of reality as it percolates up from the bowels of the earth. Either the native himself or the person represented by the Mula planet is here to burn through intense karma. For example, if the sun, which is the karaka of the father, or the ninth Bhavabhavesha, which is the ninth lord, so that's the planet that rules the ninth house, from the Lagna, from the rising sign, right? So if the sun or the ninth lord implicates Mula, then perhaps the father might experience an extremely difficult or painful life. Alternatively, the father might be a challenging but transformational influence on the native. So that's if you have the sun or the ninth lord in Mula Nakshatra. Very interesting. Now, Niriti is described as Mother Earth. And as Mother Earth, if you're going to read, if you should decide to go farther in this discussion on Niriti, I've got a video, like I said, that I've already done. I'm going to produce it after this video, and it's describing Niriti in the Vedas. And Niriti is described as Mother Earth, who puts pressure on everything in order to create the diamond, which is this precious condensation of karma. So essentially, we are born here on earth to make diamonds in the soul. And that's what Mother Earth, as Kali Ma, as Niriti, kind of intends to do. So as Mother Earth, Niriti and her nakshatra Mula have much in common with the Muladhara chakra. Muladhara. It means rooted in support. And it's the chakra governed by the earth element. The energy of the Muladhara chakra is oriented towards self-preservation. It is our ability to feel secure in the world and our capacity to provide for ourselves on the physical realm. The solid, grounding, and nourishing qualities that the Muladhara chakra imparts give a stable foundation from which to survive and flourish in life. That's why Kali Ma, the red, is very associated with the red chakra. But the earth of Niriti is void of vegetation. Again, you would have read that, as we've discussed in this Niriti in the Vedas video, Niriti is the mother of the barren earth before vegetation occurred. And then Aditi, who is the ruler of Punarvasu, Aditi brought the vegetation, brought the actual life. Whereas Niriti is the barren earth structure. It's the hard undertow, the bottom of space. The earth of Niriti is void of vegetation. It lacks vegetation. And so the native may have fears that their basic needs will be unfulfilled. Indeed, rather than security and stability, the Mula native experiences volatility and unpredictability in their life. The goddess Niriti's hollow crevices and dark caverns lack the solidity that the native so desperately seeks. And if an unresolved sense of limitation sets in this person, then illness, disease, and decay may be the result. On the other hand, with a natal chart in which Mula is unafflicted and indications of strength are evident, then the native has a very different experience and can fulfill the healthy, life-affirming aspects of the Muladhara chakra. Stable and grounded in reality, the native takes responsibility for their own destiny and likely teaches others to do the same, either by example or by discussion, by speech, by art, by however they're going to do it. By teaching is the word I wanted to say. This person lives and chooses a dharmic life, thereby creating positive karma, and actively pursues opportunities for growth and knowledge. Moving beyond life in the Muladhara chakra, the native awakens to higher states of consciousness. They find the diamond that lies buried deep beneath the hardened, barren surface of life. Beautiful, beautiful. Rooted in confidence and self-understanding, this native is adept at assisting those searching for resolutions of deep-seated fear, anxiety, and anger. This person really becomes, in a way, the arbiter of the healthy red root Muladhara chakra. The native may elect a career as a psychotherapist, a past life regression counselor, or NLP, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner. Or perhaps they are a geneticist. Any career that requires uncovering the root cause of complex and mysterious physical issues or psychosis is well suited to the Mula Nakshatra native. Representing intense Kundalini-like forces, the Rudra-based nakshatras, that's Ardra, Ashlesha, Mula, and the Bhadrapadas, are particularly adept at working with sharp, serpentine forces in a healing and a curative fashion. Now, a positive role model of the take charge Mula Nakshatra native is Oprah Winfrey, who apparently has Mula as her rising sign, who's best known for her talk show, The Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah is the daughter of a single teenage mother who was born into poverty. She experienced considerable hardship during childhood, including sexual abuse. Yet, despite her early life circumstances, Oprah went on to become the host of the highest-rated talk show in America. She's a self-made billionaire and acclaimed as the greatest black philanthropist in American history, according to the author. However, even in the best of charts, the Mula Nakshatra native is periodically thrown a curveball. Rather than gently and gracefully floating down the river of life, this native often finds themselves occasionally in the middle of whitewater rapids. The only way to survive such hazardous waters is by attentive and ever so precise maneuvering. One wrong move, and this native can suddenly be free-falling over a steep and perilous drop. To avoid such calamities in life, this native must fully understand the structural capacities of their raft and have utmost respect for the powers of nature. Otherwise, serious consequences are likely assured. Now, Mula, as well as other Rudra-ruled nakshatras, is not only... I should say this quickly before... What do we mean when we're talking about the Rudra-ruled nakshatras? Am I right on this? Yes. So there are these classifications of the nakshatra devatas. The first three are kind of just in their own category, and then so are the pitris. Excuse me, I got the burpees today. Now, there's the Adityas, which relates to sattva and heaven. There's the Rudras, which relates to the rajas and to the atmosphere. And then there's the Vasus, which relates to earth and the elements. Now, the Rudras of the atmosphere are windy, and they're considered to be intense. They have this Rudra Shiva-like energy. And that's Ardra, the Bhadrapadas, Mula, and Ashlesha. They have this Rudra-like energy of atmosphere, of the middle realm, that's neither happy to be grounded nor happy to be sailing freely in the air. They're exchanging between those two, and they're Rajasic. So this is what it means when we talk about Mula as one of these Rudra nakshatras. So Mula, as well as the other Rudra-ruled nakshatras, is not only volatile in nature, but as well it holds the potential for producing some of the most unconventional and outlandish personalities in the world. The example that the author gives is John Belushi, who had Mula Lagna. The Mula was on their rising sign. Belushi is one of the original cast members of the Saturday Night Live franchise. Became an overnight hit with his wild and raunchy humor. He went on to star in National Lampoon's Animal House, playing the part of an outrageous party animal frat. Being hugely successful, Belushi was without a doubt one of the most talented and original comedians in show business. Yet, his shadow side involved wild emotional swings and drug and alcohol addiction. Just as quickly as Belushi rose to the top, his career and life ended abruptly, dying as he did at the early age of 33 from a drug overdose. The author, with her often rather heavy depiction of Mula, I'm going to just read it honestly because it's what she says and she's done more research on it than I have. What we read is that there is no such thing as luck when it comes to Mula. Abide by the laws of nature or experience life as one big grade 6 whitewater adventure. The Mula native who elects to experience the dark side of life must work to keep their head above water. However they have to do that. Or else the darkness that is part of the nature of this nakshatra will be all-encompassing and will be an acid that melts the container that holds it and will bring them underneath.